we get a lot of comments of like, oh, I didn't even realize Dylan and Henry were different people.
Yeah, that's crazy. So many people say that.
Most people, you look at them try and copy our format, it's like they're not going to do Asian accents. They're not going to do like goofy like animations and stuff like that.
Some would say we even shouldn't.
No, we really shouldn't. But we can't control the animators, dude. You've seen the videos?
Welcome back to the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about smart nonsense, baby. We've arrived. We have arrived. Tuesday morning, October 3rd. Dating it, timing it.
People dating it, dude. My brain went a different way.
Of course it did. Of course it did. I was listening to that Mark Manson you were talking about yesterday. I was like, of course you like this episode. It's just 100% about dating.
Yeah.
But it is good. He was good. Sorry if I'm for the viewers who should go to YouTube and watch this because our thumbnails are sick. I just spilled a lot of my liquid death and
you like today's Wall Street?
Yeah.
That was pretty sick, dude. Fake on real.
So here's the thing. This is an unexpected thread because I listen to my co-host now. What's the unexpected thread? The unexpected thread is do not go and copy our thumbnails. Why? Because they don't convert. They suck. Okay. And we know that. Like what? You're probably pulling like 1% click-through rate. We want to be at 10.
God bless.
That's not the point though. The point is they look like nothing else on YouTube. So our thought was, okay, fuck the click-through rate in the short term. We're going to build a cultish long-term audience just by being like consistent and methodical. And then in 5 years and 10 years, the thumbnails won't matter. Like people will become acquainted with this style of thumbnail. They're not optimized in the short run. So there's the thread for you, dude.
Take it or leave it. Teed me up, dude, because I had that deep in my threads too. And it all ties into being unique, which I want to talk about. But yeah, it's basically this like, huh?
You doing okay? It's just Debbie Downer over there.
Oh, is that Debbie Downer?
Just trying to be unique.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that, dude. Just trying to be unique. That's the most I could summon. Yeah, so thumbnails, like the problem is I had this for a thread yesterday where I was scrolling through after I watched the Mark Manson pod. Scrolling through the recommendations on YouTube and you see like a bunch of other videos. Literally every single other video that was a podcast was, here's the person you interviewed, his face, black background or just like colored background, and then text. And cheeks, maybe the interviewer's face. It's the same thing cheeks. For every single person. It's always cheeks.
What's that thing Naval says about escape competition? How about compete? How about just...
Well, look at my first million today. Their hook, I'm just like, I get it. Like, it's hard to figure out how to escape competition, but like they just copy and paste like a Chris Williamson hook, or like I don't know who's copying who, like who's patient zero, but like it's just copy all the way down, and it's like you're not gonna stand out. Granted, the way we do it, it's like we put up one with our faces, and I think it performed like 5 times better than everything else. So there's a reason. But it's this short-term dip where like, what the fuck is that dirt-looking thing on screen? You don't know. But if you see it every single day, you're going to be like, oh, that thing always stands out. And now I just click on it because I know it's Dylan and Henry. You don't even need our faces.
And then it's one of one.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious how that experiment plays out.
Well, I also
we'll report back.
It's like to compete with that thumbnail, you need an actual illustrator. Versus you can just like Photoshop my face and your face on any background and it'll work. Versus like what we're doing is like you have to actually draw a dirt character. Draw.
How did I say that, dude? No, just for the audio listeners, he was doing a drawing in the space-time dimension.
That was his big mound head. I don't know if you caught that in space-time. This is actually active listening. Is you repeat back a little bit of what the other person says. So.
Yes. Danny, speaking of repeating back a little bit of what the person says, here's another thread for you.
This is actually active listening. Is you repeat back a little bit of what the other person says. So,
yes. Danny, speaking of repeating back a little bit of what the person says, here's another thread for you. I had my lowest content month in September. It's October 3rd. I posted 4 in Sep.
4 and Sep, dude.
The goal is 20. The goal is 20. We have a lot of resources.
That's 3.
There should be 20. If I posted 4, that means you posted 0.
I've posted 4 this year.
Oh, it's the 9th month of the year. Here's the thread, though. I still made $4,000 in September.
Nice, dude.
So, yeah, thanks to me. Not enough. Not like
that's actually a lot of money.
It's a good amount of money. It's still a huge loss for what we're doing.
Oh, of course.
However, my point is, the thread is, we had this idea about building a binge bank, right? It's like getting your library of content online. And now that library of shorts is just serving me month after month.
Well,
I actually probably made a bit more because, that's not the library. But I had my Theranos long form was, the music was disputed for a bit. So they were like holding the funds in escrow. So there's probably another like $1,500.
Yeah, dude. Flexing on
hey,
them,
dude. Come on.
Yeah, I haven't shot an actual short, I think, since July. And it's October. But
the one
I still
did
25 million views last month. So it's like 25 M's. Stop. Dude,
well, think about it. I think your library, your binge bank is probably just half as big as mine. Because
I think it's actually a third.
Is it less? Yeah. So it's like proportionally, like our channels, our binge banks are doing the same. Yeah. Having the same long tail of views. Help me out, dude. Come on.
Were you trying to sap tea here? I forget what your point was.
Oh, calls out the T-sap. That was my point. I thought that was interesting. I just saw that this morning. Let's see. What else do you want?
No, I didn't mean to call it out. Here's one thing that I have been thinking about, where it's like when I said this, I think yesterday, where Mr. Beast, he'll edit like you're going to click off every 3 seconds. And I kind of fear that the podcast personality of like, oh, let's make sure retention is good, comes out and it's just got to be like slamming something one after another, versus like if everyone's just here to hang, you can chill. You don't got to be entertaining the whole time. I like that perspective too.
We got to have less threads?
No. I'm just saying like we don't have to force it as I just forced it. I'm like, maybe we don't have to. Maybe we do. Maybe at the start you do. But you kind of tangented off to content.
You want more content? Let's see. We can talk about my gripe with my first million. Is that what this pod is?
Yeah, that would have been more connected to where I wanted to go. There's always the business too. We can talk about that.
Well, I wasn't actively listening. The business is less than interesting, but kind of interesting.
No, I think a lot of people, the OGs, care about that.
The OGs. Here's my gripe with the My First Million podcast, because maybe we have some overlap with their audience. I wake up this morning. Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings are my favorite mornings. They're my favorite mornings because I get to go outside on a beautiful day for a walk with my dog, and I get to turn on the My First Million podcast. Now, the gripe begins about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, when they just start posting. It started with Sean doing these in-person interviews, and then they just go interview after interview after interview after interview, culminating today with an interview with Cody Ko, who is a creator I like. And I'm like, that's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not listening to My First Million to be an interview show. And I like this creator. I like Cody Ko. So I should want to listen
you watch some
to Cody Ko.
Dude? You turn it into Dalia, dude.
I had a sip of coffee. One sip and he's Elon. That's what happened. I drink coffee now.
A little twang too going.
A little twang.
Well, that's the thing too, because Cody Ko's he's the key. He's like the pinnacle of entertaining YouTubers.
He's an entertainer. So like that should be a great podcast guest. But he's cheeks, because the My First Million show is not an interview show. Or it can be, but they got to be in their business format, which is like kick around ideas and shit on businesses or react to business news, whatever.
Well, this is what I tweeted. My favorite podcast wasn't actually My First Million. I like their goo. Like I like their chemistry on it. But my favorite one was this podcast called Brains. It was basically I don't even know the people. It was like indie hacker people like Courtney Allen and Julian Shapiro. I think
Oh,
they were like the moderator hosts, but they'd bring on like a Sean Puri and Jason Calacanis. Be like, hey guys, we're gonna talk about podcasting, and then they just have like two industry leaders or like two top people just riffing off this. Or we listened to a bunch on like the writing and like creativity from Tim Urban and who's the guy? What was that show called? Do you remember who I'm talking about?
oh,
I think you listened to it. Fuck. I really wanted it, but basically like dude, it's gonna kill me. A top entertainer.
Give me some hints.
Oh, hold on,
For a
I
show.
had it up. Tim Urban and Jason Silva. He's the guy. You'd recognize his show. It was like Brain Games. Brain Games. That's what it was.
That's not it. Okay.
Maybe you don't.
Well, it probably is, but no clue what that is.
It was a popular show. I watched it. Assuming that's the name. But like just top people in industries talking, and it's like it's a format that no one's done, versus all these interviews where it's like, here's my guest who I've never met before, have no chemistry with, and I'm going to talk to him about his life story from age 0 to age 40, just like everyone else has. It's like, dude, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Why? Give me your unique angle. Granted, people might be like, Dylan and Henry, what the hell is your unique angle? And I don't think we really have one still. But the idea is like, if this is your main focus, your number one priority, all you should be focused on is like, what is my angle? Like right now, the podcast just isn't our number one priority. So we're like doing daily just with goo stuff. But like if it were, we would treat it just like we do with the email, where it's like get illustrators, make it stand out, look like Wait But Why, but daily, like this thing that no one can compete with. Same with the shorts. And actually, Sam put this out yesterday. I'll just keep running with this. He tweeted basically like email today is really fucking hard. If you're trying to make an email newsletter, there's just a lot of competition. Everyone's using the same format for like acquiring leads or getting subscribers. It's like, hey, put out a funny little paid ad. And now everyone's driving up prices for paid ads because it's all the same like business topics. And it's like, you're not going to win that game.
It's literally, it's sell ads in your email, take that money and buy paid ads to acquire new customers, and then just churn and burn.
Right. But then you're not building anything sustainable. Like there's no, like if you turn off paid tomorrow, your newsletter goes to shit. So that's where I like our perspective, because people ask him, it's like, what do you do, Sam? Sam's like, well, you can still succeed here. You just got to be like completely unique, like easy, completely unique. You got to be unique. It'd be something totally different than everyone else. And this is where I like the Peter Thiel thing, where it's like, if you're going to compete, you have to be 10 times better than everyone else. Just like, I think that metric, everyone's shooting for like 2 times better. It's like, no, 10 times better. Like it's not even close in the race. That's kind of one of my qualms with our company Clipped, is it's like, it's too competitive. It's not competing. There's just a lot where I want to focus. Podcasts and company, I think we're still not unique, but the email and the shorts completely are. No one competes with us there.
And what do you know? Those are the 2 things that are working the best.
Right. Well, one thing that's interesting though is, so we got 1 billion views in the last year on our shorts. I don't mean to flex on them, but like a lot of views. But like the amount of DMs that I've gotten, at least, or probably you have gotten as well from them, is almost none. Like proportionally, it's kapooch. Like maybe a Mark Manson like surfaces somewhere just because like a friend recommended, but like pretty much no one. Versus I've gotten so many messages, DMs about this podcast, and then people being like, oh, I love the podcast, and also like your email is so sick. Like I want to take that unique angle and apply that to my own stuff. It's like just like important people that we just find out listen to the podcast or read our email, versus like the shorts, for some reason that just gets lost in the sauce.
Well, I think it's a demographic thing, but also like there's not a good mechanism to watch a YouTube Shorts creator and then reach out to them. Crazy. What, are you going to go like rabbit hole for their email? Yeah.
I don't get why that is
kind of crazy.
If they just turned on DMs, it'd be unreal. It like, that's the reason why I care about Instagram, because I'm like, I kind of like want people to DM.
There's no sharing inside of YouTube.
It's
obviously
crazy. I don't understand why.
I wonder why.
Well, that's why they kind of pivoted to doing the @ thing. So you could be like @ Dylan Jardon, @ Henry Belcaster. That's what I thought the direction they were going, but there's been nothing there. So it's very much
Maybe
just like
it'll
a
come.
post and ghost sort of platform.
Maybe that's what they
hold on.
want though, because I don't know. Otherwise, you can get a lot of junk, spam commenting.
I think they used to have it, but they turned it off. But I'm like, you could solve that. Like Instagram fucking solves it somehow. They filter, or you could just like only accept from people with 100,000 subscribers, or like there are ways to do it. So hold on, my point's coming
Don't
together.
drop the ball. Not right now.
Well,
Oop.
well,
I was actively listening. So if you want me to tag in at any point, just
I don't know where that thread was going, but I like the idea at least where we have this shorts. If we just point shorts to our other stuff that's like very deep, like the deep connection is showing with the podcast and with email more or less. And
that's also
that's where it is.
That's also a factor of like time spent together. Like the time a viewer can spend with us in podcast and email is 10x, 100x the 60 seconds we spend together in shorts. So the longer people can listen to us, the more they know about us, the more they think we're friends or whatever. Hey, dude, it becomes parasocial. Ever heard that? Parasocial relationship.
Well, we get a lot of comments of like, oh, I didn't even realize Dylan and Henry were different people.
Exactly.
Like, oh, that's the level of depth of the shorts.
Exactly.
And I think it's just like everyone thinks that way. It's just weird. It's a different animal.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not
so
like
many people say that
or something.
Right. So many people are like, oh, that just shows you how, other than our edits, just how like replaceable our shorts are. And this is where like, it's not good. Kind of good?
If we wanted to get out.
Yes. And or we need to inject more personality and get in pop.
Well, here's the thing though. We have similar sense of humor. That's why we have a podcast that we just riff every day. But like most people, you look at them try and copy our format. It's like they're not going to do Asian accents. They're not going to do like goofy like fucking cum animations and stuff like that. So it's just like we have a similar sense of humor, but no one else does.
Some would say we even shouldn't. Some would
no,
say
we really shouldn't.
We even shouldn't.
But we can't control the animators, dude. You've seen the videos? You get them eating pig heads, pooping themselves.
Let me wrap on Sean. Because to bring this full circle, piece of constructive criticism that's clearly behind their back.
Behind their back?
Like I'm not bringing this to them, but but I think this is.
I brought it.
I think this is interesting for other creators and for us. The reason they're bringing these new guests, they say, is because it taps into those guests' audience.
Right.
And I'm like, cheeks, dude. Like, I go watch Mark Manson. I'm there to watch Mark Manson on the Iced Coffee Hour podcast. I'm not then interested in the Iced Coffee Hour podcast, especially because it's like every other interview show. And so if I'm a fan of Cody Ko, I don't come and watch him on My First Million. I'm like, yep, My First Million. Maybe I'd be more inclined if they were doing something really unique on the podcast with him, which is their format.
Right. 100% would.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it's a small tweak makes all the difference.
It's the tiniest tweak, dude. If I listen to Mark Manson on Iced Coffee Hour and their format was, that 10x better, I don't know if it would be going into his finances more or whatever. But if they were just 10x different, I'd be like, oh, I like the Iced Coffee Hour. Let me subscribe to that now too. And then you're actually bringing over Mark Manson fans. So.
Well, that's why I think Call Her Daddy is brilliant, because it's like, hey, we're going to talk to celebrities about their dating lives. It's like, oh, that's fucking sick. And granted, you talk about more stuff, but that's like the angle. And so it's like, oh, I would subscribe to Call Her Daddy because I know I want to get like all these celebrities' hot gossip. Same thing, like if I were to do a solo interview podcast, I would just do that.
That's it. Because Mark Manson on My First Million, on Iced Coffee Hour, on Tim Ferriss, on Shane Parrish, like on any of those shows is the exact same.
Right.
So who's going to have Mark Manson on and do something 10x different?
Well, he goes
on Call Her Daddy and talks about his sex life, which is interesting.
The Lex thing was like his angle was just AI podcasts, and so he just talked to like very specific guests about AI and like super technical stuff, and that's where you like crack through. I just it literally blows my mind when your entire focus in life, if your main priority is the podcast, and you just copy other people's formats, hooks, thumbnails, every single aspect of it, like questions even. It's like where is this like in the world of like mental models? I literally think I only have one. It's just like be unique. Just that. That's like the only thing that matters. And then if you're unique, and obviously you got to be like good and unique. You can't be fucking like doing weird shit. And, but pretty much you're gonna win that game. Gardaloo. Fuck, dude. I saw you waiting. I
wanted that. Like, I wanted that, and pretty much you're gonna win that game.